Hey, kia ora, good morning, and welcome to a super fantastic sparkling tune-up Tuesday. Yes, bed here. About to go get ready for the day, take the dog for a WALK. She's still sleeping, so I want to get this done real quick. She's so funny. When she gets up, she'll come out here, a single mind focus. Her head is straight ahead, and she's just focused on getting up on the dash, looking out the window until I say good morning to her, and then she diverts and comes over and gets hugs and scratches. So, but she's still, I just checked on her, and she's still out to it. This morning, it's 7:30 in the morning. I've been up for 2.5 hours, and had an amazing 2.5 hours. I learned all about appreciation today, and when you appreciate more. And what was interesting was when you get into that mindset of appreciation, is that things start to flow towards you. You have, and it's all about being appreciative in all situations, because when you're appreciative in all situations, you're realizing that, it may be a bad situation, but if you appreciate being in that moment, and learning, because the situations that you go through help you learn and grow. And so, thinking back on different times in life where different things have happened to me, different challenges I've been through, I'm now looking back on those with great appreciation, because when you appreciate what you have been through, it is easier to forgive those that wronged you at the time and to move forward and to open the channels for stuff that's coming in. Isn't that exciting? Sorry. It just gets me so excited to be able to do that. So I am very appreciative for every experience that I have had, good, bad, otherwise, because I know that I have learned and grown through those experiences. And another thing I learned is that, and it was very interesting because I'm reading the book Super Attractor right now, which is my second time reading it. First time I read it was back in 2020, so it was 2 years ago. And I have written notes in the column in the margins from when I first read it, and I put that I'm using my experiences with Brad not only to help current cancer caregivers, but also to help those who have had a loved one pass from them, whether, it doesn't matter what it's been, but helping those. So my experiences from being a cancer caregiver through to becoming a widow are now helping other cancer caregivers and widows. So it's just an incredible honor and experience to be in. And I look back at some of the other challenges I've had in life. We were always the new kids on the block. Growing up, 9 different schools. And no, it wasn't because I was bad. We moved a lot. And I look back at my first 30 years of my life, being born and raised in New Zealand, and I had 13 different places I lived in over 13 years. And the longest I lived in one place was 6 years. So figure that one out. It's about 2 to 3 years per place. Except for one that was 6 years. So, but I'm grateful for all the experiences because it taught me how to make friends, how to appreciate the friends that I had at the time, and appreciate, so it's just going back over life and looking at the different experiences I've had, the tough times I have been through, and what I learned from them. I think a lot of my compassion comes from being somebody who was bullied. I went from being bullied to being a bully, only because I was defending myself from the bullies. But I kind of took it out on others a little bit. So I'm not very proud of those moments, but I am grateful for the experience in those moments, because I really hated being a bully. I didn't like being bullied, yet I turned around and actually I was bullying the bullies. If you can look at it that way. I'm not proud of those moments, but I'm appreciative for the fact that I went through those moments, because made me realize that, I feel bad if I do anything that hurts somebody. I feel bad about that. I don't like that feeling. It guts me. So I have a lot of empathy for those that are bullied, because I've been bullied. And I guess you could say I became a bully because I was bullied, and I just decided to stand up for myself. So yeah, it's learning to stand on your own 2 feet, and there's a lot of stuff you go through as a kid. It's like, how did I ever survive childhood? But I must say that one of the things that got me through my childhood was that I had incredible parents, very loving and supportive parents. I don't think they were aware of half the crap I went through at school. I mean, I gave them a lot of, especially as a teenager. Jeepers, being the oldest and being a teenager, yeah, that was not a good combination. But I'm very appreciative for the fact that I had 2 loving parents. So, how the heck did I get into this? Tune Up Tuesday. Yes, tuning up attitudes, tuning up your outlook on life. So today your challenge is, what did I write down? I wrote something down here. Hang on, I've got to check it out. What is one thing you can do to tune up your energy output today? My energy output is done because I was reading this whole chapter on appreciate and appreciate more. So when you appreciate something, give more appreciation towards that one thing. Be appreciative, be thankful and grateful for all the experiences you've been through in life, because you would not be where you are today without those experiences. You would not be the strong person you are today without those experiences, because you learn and you grow through the experiences. So be grateful for those moments, even the bad ones. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Been there, done that. Well, been there, done that. Got the t-shirt. But look at that. And it's also the 1st of March. So welcome to March. Oh my gosh, welcome to March. Did you get all your stuff closed off yesterday? Did you declare February complete so you can start today on a fresh slate? We've got a new Tell Your Story question of the day for this month. Actually, I should make a question of the month, shouldn't I? What are some of your favorite hobbies and pastimes you have had over the years? Are there some that you still do today, or are there ones that have dropped off over time? I was trying to think, I was thinking back to what have I done? I've done lots of things. I love to sew. I haven't been able to sew in ages because my sewing machines have been in storage, and in an RV, I really don't have room for a sewing machine. Although at this resort, they actually have a sewing room. I haven't been over there to check it out to see if it's something that they have the machines there. You just use the machines, or whether you've got to take your own machine there. So that I have to go check out, and it's sort of like, what mischief can I get up to with a sewing machine? I can get up to a lot of mischief. And then what do I need to sew? I could go back to sewing tote bags again. I used to enjoy making tote bags. I made some really good tote bags. Yeah, I loved doing that as a kid. We had, and you would get the single strap that would go all the way around, and then you'd sew the panels onto the strap front and back. And then I've done the tote bags where you just do the seam up the side and then you sew the handles on. So, and believe me, I made sure those handles did not come off. They were not coming off on my watch. We were told just to do a single thing around. I did a double or a triple. They said just do a single seam around there to hold it, and I'm sort of like, yeah, not so sure about the. And I used to do this in my sewing classes in high school. So like, yeah, I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna go over that area, like do like a double or a triple seam around there, just to make sure those bags held. And then my handles, yeah, they got sewn on real good. There was no way those handles were coming off anything I sewed. But I had fun. I made skirts. I made myself skirts. I had a really beautiful skirt that I made. And I'm not a skirt person. I'm happy in jeans, t-shirt, yoga pants. I am not really a skirt or a dress person. But growing up, I seemed to have them. I'd rather be in shorts and t-shirt. But yeah, I remember sewing class was interesting. I always got a B in the clothing class. It was our sewing class. I always got a B because I never followed the patterns. The teacher would come over and inspect my work and says, okay, what's the next step on your pattern? And I looked at her and go, I don't know. I'm just going to put this piece onto this and, and do that and, put this bit in the waistband. I can't remember the names of the stuff. It's been so long since I've sewn any clothing. And then I'm going to attach it to the skirt. And she's sort of like, well, what does your pattern say? I don't know. But that's, to me, it was logical. Take this piece, attach it to this bit, sew it all together, boom, do the hem, and you're done. And yeah, no, she didn't. I was doing stuff out of order and all of that, but I couldn't follow patterns. The only thing on that piece of paper that comes out of the thing, with the instructions on how to sew something together. The only piece I actually understood was fold the fabric this way, and you need these pattern pieces. This is how they get laid out. Then you cut them out. And that was as far as I could get in the pattern. I just, for whatever reason, couldn't comprehend. I don't know. It's been a while since I've looked at a pattern, but I couldn't comprehend that you take piece A, sew it to piece B, da, 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 da. To me, in my head, I did it in a logical manner. Oh, we've got two of these. Okay, so this goes on this side, this goes on this side, and we need something to fill in the middle. Sewing a top, you've got a back, you got a front, you got sleeves. What more can you possibly need? And then you've got the oh jeepers, what was the name of it? The stiffener, the stuff that goes in there. And I figured, okay, well, that's got to be attached. It's the same size, it's the same piece as this. We're going to attach those two together, and then we're going to put the whole thing together. Which is logical. Just follow the pattern. But I didn't follow the pattern. I followed the pattern that was in here. Drove my clothing teacher nuts. That's why I got a B. I never got A's in that class. But then I wasn't an A student in all my subjects. A for effort. Definitely got A for effort. Got a lot of A's for effort. Yeah. But when it came to exams and stuff, yeah, I was more your B bordering on C type student. It's kind of interesting because I have a binder that has every report card I ever got in school, from the very first report card I got to the very last one I got in high school. And I have them all in between. And I remember when I went to go for my interview with the Air Force in New Zealand, I took that binder along because it was the only thing that I had. Well, I had some resume letters from jobs I'd had through high school and stuff. And he went back and he looked at the first report cards I got, stopped at some in the middle, and then went to the back end, and then went to the back of the binder to see the latest report cards and stuff. And I said to Mum, why would he do that? And she says, because he wants to see your consistency throughout the years. How have you improved? And I went, oh, well, that's not good. But hey, it got me in. Anyway, so what hobbies or pastimes have you had over the years? Some that what ones do you still do? What ones did you used to have that you don't do? My favorite pastimes is reading. Definitely still do that one. Cooking. A recipe is just a foundation that you build on. Some cooks are probably going, oh my God, no. Sewing is something that I've always enjoyed, but I haven't been able to do it the last few years. In fact, even when we were living in the house, I didn't do sewing at the time either. I didn't have a need to sew anything. At the time. But yeah, maybe I could get back into doing my tote bags. I used to enjoy those. I never had a pattern for those. No, it was just cut a couple of squares and sew them together. Put a couple of handles on there and you're good to go, Yes, man. But I did get to teach my niece how to use a sewing machine, so that was kind of fun. She made a tote bag. All the things she made a tote bag. And we actually used a pattern for that one. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. That was a while ago. That was when we were living in LA. So that was 2011, 2012, around that time that I did that. So, 10 years ago. It's the last time I had my hands on a sewing machine. So there was that. Cross stitch, I haven't done that in ages. Embroidery, I haven't done that in a long time. Still have my kits. I still have projects in progress. I have these really cool plastic containers that have that open up, and inside was all the embroidery floss. And I had the canvas. If it was depending on the size of the canvas or the material that I was using for the cross stitch and stuff, I would have that folded up in the box with the floss, or I had it in a set outside the box, but with the box. So I do have these series of boxes that have the embroidery floss in there and the instructions for the piece that I was working on. And then I have a separate area where I kept the canvases that were too big to be folded up and put into the things. So I will dig those back out again at some point. Got to find my lamp. I have this really cool lamp for when you're doing cross stitch and that. So I had embroidery and cross stitch I used to do by hand. Haven't done that in a while. Crochet and knitting, that's a seasonal thing. Although I have discovered that Zeffie likes to play with the balls of yarn. So I can't leave it laying around. And when I'm doing it, she's more interested in the ball of yarn than anything else. And so it's sort of like, no, you can't play with that. It's not a toy. So yeah, but I do have a lot of yarn underneath my bed. I have some yarn underneath my bed that needs to be crocheted or knitted into blankets or preemie hats. And so get back into that again. Yeah, that's something that I do on and off throughout the year. Let's see, reading, definitely reading. Does it mention reading? Yeah. And writing. My writing is something I like to do as well. And genealogy. How can I forget that one? I'm trying to think what other things I used to do as a kid. I used to make things out of clay when I was a kid. Clay and the modeling clay like Fimo and those sorts of things. And quite often I pass them in craft stores and I'm like, that would be interesting to take up again. But then I don't have, well, I have the gas oven, but I haven't figured out how to turn it on because you need to bake that stuff to harden it all up. But I haven't done that in years. I can't remember the last time I had a block of Fimo in my hand. It might have been a teenager. Yeah, that was a number of years ago. It's interesting walking through a craft store and you go, oh, yeah, I used to enjoy that. Why haven't I done that? Scrapbooking, I haven't done that in a long time. Enjoyed that. I still have all my scrapbooking supplies and everything else. But I just, right now, I just don't have the space. And when we were living in San Diego, I didn't have the space all the time because we were dealing with all of Brad's cancer stuff and everything else, plus running a business from home. And so I just didn't have the time to continue my scrapbooking. In fact, I haven't done any scrapbooking since we moved from Virginia because I never had the space all the time to do it. And when I did have the space to do it, I didn't have the time. So, and now I'm starting to digitize everything and put it all online. And so, but I still have a lot of photographs that need to be scanned in. So I need to find those boxes and pull them out and get them digitized. But anyway, so, what hobbies did you have when you were growing up? Hobbies and pastimes. And hiking. Hiking was one. We used to do that as kids. Our parents would always take us hiking. Yeah, enjoyed that. Especially going up the mountain, up Mount Taranaki. That was awesome. We had some great trails up there. Now, I remember us kids always bitching and moaning about the fact that we had to go up the mountain, we were going up the mountain and blah, 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 blah. But get us on and my parents just put up with it because they knew as soon as we stepped foot on the mountain, we were off and we had a blast. So, yeah, things you did as a kid. Yeah, think the hell you put your parents through, It's sort of like you look back at it and go, yeah, sorry. But anyway, so go out, tune up, figure out hobbies, pastimes, but tune up the attitude today. What can you do to change your energy output? Because the energy you put out is what you're going to receive back, which is why I always say that no matter what happens today is always super fantastic and sparkling. And when I start to feel down, I keep telling myself I am super fantastic and sparkling. And that helps lift me up. And my dear friend Casey, there's times we get on and we have heart-to-heart talks. And he goes, how you doing? And I go, super fantastic and sparkling. He goes, okay, how are you really doing? Let's get down to it. And so we do some deep dives and all of that sort of stuff. And then the last thing he always says to me is, how are you doing? And I go, super fantastic and sparkling. So he takes me from this level, brings me down, guides me through this, and then brings me back up to that same level again so that I'm not dwelling. And I'm very appreciative for that. So no matter what situation you're going through, you can always find something to be grateful for. Just the fact that you are experiencing the experiences you are experiencing. Experiencing the experiences you are experiencing. Figure it out. Go have a super fantastic sparkling day. I'm off to go have a quick shower, get dressed, and take a pup for a walk. In fact, I have to go wake a pup. She still hasn't appeared. She usually appears around 7:30. Yeah. Anyway, go have a super fantastic sparkling day. Hei konera.